Hi and welcome to the Home Assistant How-To with Bearded Tinker. Today we are going to integrate DNS IP so we can see when our external IP address changes. We'll start in a couple of seconds. DNS IP integration allows you to retrieve information about your current external IP address or about any other IP address for the domain you want to get information for. Configuration for this integration is really simple. It only requires you to have a couple of lines inside your sensor.yaml file. Let's go to our Home Assistant. In Home Assistant, open Visual Studio Code, Configurator, File Editor, or whatever text editor you use to edit your configuration. Let's go to our sensor.yaml file. If you do not have sensor.yaml file, you can create empty file called sensor.yaml file. The only thing you must not forget to do is to add following line to your configuration YAML file. Sensor, colon, exclamation mark, include sensor.yaml. Let's go to sensor.yaml file. And at the bottom of the file, let me put here comment, DNS IP. And here we will configure DNS IP integration. Integration for this component has two options. One is simple option, meaning that we just want to retrieve information about the external IP address of the network where Home Assistant is. This is normally used by any Home Assistant user that uses dynamic IP address. You can use any service, for example, duckdns or dns or FreeDNS. And any such service requires you to update your external IP address information when it changes. And it can change frequently based on the internet service provider you're using. Normally, you are not interested in this, but sometimes there could be a problem with your external IP address not being updated. Maybe you want to get notified if you have a permanent external IP address when this IP address changes. So let's configure it. Platform. Here we have to give the name of the platform, and this is DNS IP. And this would be all you need to get the information about the current external IP address of your network. But if, for example, you want to get information about some other network, for example, you have two flats or flat and house, and you want to check and get information for that location too, then you would need to create additional sensor, or you can use this sensor just to retrieve that information. Let's put here hostname, and let's pretend that home-assistant.io is the domain that we want to check our IP address for. So it's Home Assistant. And now DNS IP integration will not look for the update of our external IP address. Instead, it will be looking for a change or a current IP address of the domain we specified. Next thing what we can do also here is, if we would, for example, have multiple domains we want to track, is to give it a name. Let's give a name to this location, hassio. And the last configuration option that we can use is resolver. By using resolver, you can change from the default OpenDNS server that is used for this query to some other server. So for example, we can use Google DNS servers. Let's type here resolver. And let's type here the IP address of the Google DNS server. Now, Home Assistant will look for the public IP address of the domain home-assistant.io against the Google DNS servers and will create sensor named hassio. If you would want to add additional DNS IP integration, you just need to add here platform, DNS IP, and you can leave it, as I said, blank to get the information about your current external IP address or public IP address, or you can Once again, specify host name that you want to track. Let's say that I want to track beardedtinker.com. Let's give it a name, beardedtinker.com. And for this sensor, I will leave resolver empty or default, meaning that I will be using OpenDNS. This should be it for the configuration of the DNS IP platform. Let's go to configuration, server control, check configuration, and let's restart our Home Assistant. If you have a working configuration and you have already exposed your Home Assistant, any updates to your external IP address should be handled by the service that is providing you with dynamic DNS capabilities. So for example, duckdns. I do see a use of this component if you are monitoring some of your public services or websites that are under your control, such as the one I provided here, which is my, fortunately, not that used Bearded Tinker website. If you have a static IP address, then having this sensor can help you track if there is some kind of odd IP address change, and that can also mean that there is a potential security issue where somebody is trying to hijack your IP address or your DNS service, rerouting traffic to some other site. So who knows, maybe you can find some good use for this sensor. And our connection is restored. If everything is okay, we should now have two new sensors. Let's go to Developer Tools. And let's search for hass. So this is the IP address of the hassio, official homeassistant.io website. And let's see if we got the IP address from Bearded Tinker. Yes, we have also here the IP address of the beardedtinker.com. As you can see, this integration is really easy to set up. I hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you still haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notified on the future updates. And I'll be seeing you next time. Until then, bye bye and have fun.